When creating a new sales order, from the Transaction tab, select Create. Here's a list of all the different types of documents we can create. We're going to start with sales order. With our sales order, we select a customer. So if I select AJ's Grill, here is the bill to information. Here is the authorized buyers. And here is a transaction summary of what they purchased in the past from us. And here are items they've purchased in the past from us. So moving forward, we also have the binoculars that will help us find a customer by their first or last name, their city, their phone, only customers with certain balances, user-defined fields. You can set up restaurants, schools, etc. as a user-defined field. So we're going to go ahead and select, and on this status area here, you get a chance to see that they are taxable. They're not on credit hold. This is their account limit, and they have open credits from a return we did to them. So let's go ahead and hit the select. We're now at an order screen that's very similar to our invoice screens. So for the SKU, we can hit the enter key, and we could do searches for the item under various methods, such as using the binoculars. We can search by what's called subcategories, which I have my vendors in, and I also have individual items in. So if I'm looking for a backflow preventer, I select OK, and here are the two items that fit that selection for category. So I have 4 available. This tells me how many I have in stock, how many are allocated on other sales orders, how many I sold, pre-sold, which is selling something that I have not received into inventory yet, as far as the paperwork is concerned. But we did physically receive the item in. So we're going to select that. And as you notice down here, the atmospheric, this comes directly from the AutoQuote spec. And this is what will print on your invoices if you wish to have that print. So we're going to select this. It's going to prompt us for how many we want. And we're going to take 2 of those. And it's going to ask us, is this the price that this customer is going to pay? Because we've got them set up for unique pricing based on what kind of customer they are. So looking at the detail window over here, we can look at the item window. Let's hit that OK. Let's go back and look at the item window. And this just gives us more information: who's the vendor, what the different price levels are. In AutoQuotes, if you're creating the sales order and you did not import it from an AutoQuote project, you can put the AutoQuote line number that is in the project right here and what category it belongs to. And this comes automatically from AutoQuotes when you import from the project. But since we're manually creating it, we'd have to manually put in the line number and category. Let's take another item by going with our down arrow to the next. And if we're looking for an item that has a word somewhere in the description like quart, since I've highlighted the description column with that plus, and I type quart and hit Control Enter, anything that has the word quart somewhere in its name is going to show up. So I'm selecting this item here. And I just hit the enter key and the enter key. So those are the two items that are going to be on my sales order. And I'm going to save that. If the customer has a purchase order, I can put that PO number in. And this is my buyer. And I'd like to get this out to them by the 20th. Am I going to apply a payment to this? No. Now I can print a picking ticket to go back to the warehouse, so have those guys pick it. I can do a order only, and if I do the order only, I can show the costs. And as you can see, here's the full spec information, and it shows what my cost is and what my sell price is. Okay. Now, going back to pending sales orders, the one we just did, if we edit this, you can look here under the revisions, and you can see that revisions can and have been made. So if I close this and I go down and say, hey, I'd like to add another item to this, and then save this revision, so when I say save this, now when I look at this item again and I say I want to edit it, and I go to my revisions up here next to the escape, you'll see I have several revisions. This was my original one I did before I added the item. If I want to restore that, click Restored Highlighted. And now I'm back to my original two that I ordered. This comes in handy if you make a mistake when you're editing your order and you accidentally delete something. You can go back to your revisions and bring up the items that was deleted prior to you going in and editing the current version. So that's a very helpful technique. We have also our shortcut list, and here's some of the things we can use the keyboard to be able to do things instead of hitting buttons with our mice. We also have the ability to look at customers' purchase history and see things he's bought from us in the past. So if he says, hey, I need one of those baking stones again, and I say, you mean one like you got last time, that 15-inch diameter? Yeah, that's the one. You highlight that with a click here and say select. That will then put the baking stone on the current order. That's great when customers are ordering things like china with patterns or flatware with patterns, and they can't remember the name of the pattern. You can remind them by looking at that purchase history. You can also change the invoice date if you wish to backdate the order. There's no problem there, but that's only when you're doing invoices, not orders. We can also toggle tax. If he says, hey, that backflow preventer is not taxable, then all we do is say toggle tax and make it non-taxable. So that line item would be non-taxable, whereas all the other items are taxable. We also have what's called documents. And here, if you want to have, let's just kind of look at these document selections. We can bring in images. We can scan documents and attach them to this order. We can attach a file to this order, any correspondence. We can use voice recorder for this order. All these item documents are for this order only. Okay, so that's how we do that, and we're going to go back to transactions and save this. And so here we have our transaction for our orders in process.